In this session, I will discuss about the finding inners of matrix, and then I'll try to start or I will try to discuss the applications of the matrices as well. Under that, we will try to discuss about the how to apply the Cramer's rule, or how to use the Cramer's rule um, in the matrices. Okay. In the previous session, we have discussed about the finding inners of a matrix. At that point, what we have learned was if you have given a matrix A, which is supposed to be a square matrix. Here we have named this as a square matrix. If you are having a square matrix, then uh, we were able to find out the inners of this matrix, but for in that time I told you that for each and every square matrix inners does not exist. If the inners is existed, then we are saying such matrix as a invertible matrix, so we are saying such as non-singular matrix. Therefore, first when you are going to find out the inners of matrix, first we have to check whether the inners exist or not. To check that, I told you that we can use the determinant of the matrix A. If this determinant is not equal to 0, then we can say that A inverse exists. Therefore, this is what we have obtained at the last session. And to obtain the inners of any given matrix, I told you that we can use this concept. If you are having a matrix A, then A times its inverse is always equal to identity matrix of order. And if you are having A as the nth order matrix, then this should be A inverse would be also a matrix having n by n. Therefore, this multiplication is generally equal to this identity matrix of order n. Therefore, this is the general rule that we can use for obtaining the inverse of any given matrix. And in the last session, we have discussed about the obtaining the inverse for 2 by 2 matrix as well. And thereafter, today we have to discuss it for 3 by 3 matrix. Okay. Okay, as the last point of the previous session or the previous lecture, uh, we have used we have described about this equation. Here we have discussed that A inverse is equal to adjoint of matrix A. When we are going to find out the inverse of matrix, this can be obtained as adjoint of matrix A divided by the determinant of matrix A. Therefore, this is the way that we are used, or this is the equation that we are used to obtain the inverse of any given matrix. Therefore, now we'll see how we can apply this equation when we are going to identify the inverse of a 3 by 3 matrix. Okay. Now, using this equation, I will directly write down, or I will directly tell you how we can apply this in the calculation. Therefore, I will take this example. Therefore, by taking the example, I will explain how we can use this for the calculation. Okay. When we are going to find out the inverse of matrix, first we need to check whether the inverse is existed or not. Therefore, as the first thing, what we need to do is we need to check whether um, the inverse exists or not, and thereafter we are generally focusing on calculating the inverse of such matrix. Therefore, first I will take this matrix. If I write the matrix, If I write down the matrix, it is actually given as, you can see that elements are 1 minus 1 0. Therefore, if I write it here, we are having a matrix. A is having, we are having the elements 1, minus 1 and 0. This was given as a 3 by 3 matrix, and we can see the other elements are 1 0 and minus 1. It is 1 0 and minus 1, and then it is given as 6 minus 2 and minus 3. 6 minus 2 and minus 3. Therefore, in here first we are going to identify, find out the value for A inverse. This is what we need to find out. When we are going to find out the inverse of matrix, the first thing we need to check whether, um, A inverse exists or not. As the first thing, we have to check whether A inverse exists or not. To check whether A inverse exists or not, we can check or we can test it using the determinant of this matrix. We can take the determinant of the matrix. Therefore, now we'll see how we can obtain the determinant of this matrix. Then when we are going to find out the determinant of matrix, we have discussed how to obtain determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. Therefore, applying that method directly, first I have to choose the value here. It is 1. Then cut down the row and column. Then remaining elements are 1 0 minus 1 minus 2 and minus 3. Then second term connected with minus sign, minus with minus 1 is there. Then if you cut down the row and column, then I will get the remaining values as 1 minus 1, 6 and minus 3. Then using a plus sign, we have to connect the values, then 0 times, we have to cut the row and column accordingly, then we'll get the values as 1 0 6 and minus 2. Therefore, this is how we are obtaining the determinant for this matrix. And then what we need to do is, here it is quite like obtaining determinant of 2 by 2 matrix. Therefore, we'll get this as 1 times 0 times minus 3, 0 minus minus 2 times minus 1 gives the value as plus 2. Then here this becomes minus with minus, it is plus. Then here we get this as 1 times minus 3, then minus 6 times minus 1, minus with minus, we will get this as plus 6, then plus 0 times, here it is minus 2 times 0, minus 2 minus 0. Therefore, we know that this part directly goes to 0. It is because this quantity is multiplied with 0. Therefore, we can obtain the values. Here, this gives the value as minus 2, then this plus 3 plus 0. Therefore, now we can see that determinant of this matrix is equal to 1, and this is the value which is not equal to 0. Therefore, we can say that therefore we can say A inverse exists. This is the way that we are checking whether the A inverse exists or not. As the first thing, what we have to check whether A inverse exists or not using the determinant of the matrix, and thereafter we can use the equation that we have defined at this point. Here we have defined the A inverse as a joint of matrix A divided by the determinant of matrix A. Therefore, now what we have to do is, as the second step, we need to calculate we need to calculate adjoint of matrix A. We need to calculate the adjoint of matrix A. Now we need to obtain this. Therefore, to obtain the adjoint, what we have to do is, first we have to obtain the minus. Then accordingly we have to obtain the cofactors, and thereafter we have to take the transpose of the matrix, which includes the cofactors. When you are obtaining the transpose, once you obtain the transpose, then it says that we have obtained the adjoint matrix. Therefore, now we will try to use this concept to obtain the adjoint matrix. Therefore, for now what we need to do is we need to obtain the minus and cofactors. First, I will obtain the minus. To obtain the minus, I will I will first name them as M11, M12, M13. Similarly, it is M21, M22, M23. Then it is M31, M32, and M3. Altogether, we have to obtain 9 minus. Therefore, for the first value, we have to take the minus using this. Therefore, if I write down the values associated with first row, first column element, then we'll get this as 0, -1, -2, and -3. Then this suggests the value as 0 -2 value is equal to -2. If you perform the calculation, you will get this value as -2. Then M12, it is the value in the first row, second column. Therefore, first row and second column has cut down. Then we'll get this value as values inside the notation. It is 1, -1, 6, and -3. If you perform this calculation, then you will get -3 minus -6. It is -3 plus 6 gives the value as +3. Then for the M13, it is first row, third column. Then if you write down the values, then you will get it as 1, 0, 6, and -2. Therefore, you will get this value as 1 into -2, it is -2, -0 gives the value as -2. Then M21, it means the second row, first column has to be cut down, then value should be -1, -1, 0, -2, and -3. First row and the second row and first column has to be cut down, second row with first column. Therefore, we will get these values, and this results the value as +3. Similarly, we have to get the M22. Values are 1, 0, 6, and -3. 1, 0, 6, and -3. It is we have to cut down second row and second column. Values are 1, 0, 6, and -3. Then if you perform this calculation again, you will get this value as -3. Then M23, it is the element in the second row, third column. Then value would be 1, -1, 6, and -2. Therefore, we'll get this as -6 -2. We'll get the value as -4 here. Similarly, if you write down the values for M31, it means that we have to cut down the first row and the third row and the first column. Third row and first column cancel out. We will get the set of value -1, 0, 0, and -1. Here we'll get -1, 0, 0, and -1 gives the value as +1. Then M32, it is third row with second column, third row and second column cut down. Then we'll get 1, 0, 1, and -1. Here we'll get value as 1, 0, 1, and -1 gives the value as -1. Then M33, M33 can be obtained using cutting the third row with the third column. Then values are 1, -1, 1, and 0. 1, -1, 1, and 0. Therefore, we'll get 0 -1 gives the value as +1. Now, what we need to do is we have find out the minus. It is okay now. Now, what we need to do is we need to calculate the cofactors for this minus. To obtain the cofactors, what we can do is we can combine the minus with the sign pattern. If I write down the sign pattern for 3 by 3 matrix, we will get the sign pattern as we'll get the sign pattern for 3 by 3 matrix. It is starting from plus, then minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus, and plus. Now what we need to do is we need to calculate, or we need to apply or combine sign pattern with the minus. Therefore, what we can do is we can obtain the cofactors. Therefore, by combining minus with sign pattern, therefore we'll able to obtain the cofactors in this form C11 and C12, C13. Therefore, plus times minus 2 gives the value as minus 2. Minus times 3, it is minus 3. C13, it is minus 2 times plus, it is again minus 2. Then C21, 3 times minus, it is minus 3. Is now minus 3. Then C22 value, it is plus with minus 3. Then C23, minus with minus 4, it becomes plus 4. Then C31, plus with plus 1, minus with minus 1, plus with plus 1. This value gives the value as 1. Therefore, these are the cofactors we are getting. Now to write down the adjoint matrix, what we need to do is adjoint of matrix A. Once you write down the cofactors inside the matrix, and if you take the transpose of that matrix, you will get the adjoint matrix. Therefore, it is minus 2, minus 3, and minus 2, minus 3, minus 3, and 4. Then 1, 1, and 1. And you have to take the transpose of this matrix. If you write down the transpose, we'll get this as minus 2, minus 3, and minus 2. Then minus 3, minus 3, and plus 4. Then 1, 1 with 1. Here we are getting the adjoint of this matrix, and to get the inverse of the matrix, what we need to do is we can obtain this using using what we have learned previously. Therefore, we can write down the equation in this form. A inverse is equal to adjoint of the matrix A divided by the determinant of matrix A. As the adjoint of matrix A, rather than writing it in this way, I will just make a small change, or just transform this equation in this way. Here I will take the denominator as in this way, a determinant of A. It is because we are getting a numeric value here, and this is multiplied with the adjoint of matrix A. The same equation has expanded in this form. Therefore, this will help or easy make our calculation easy. Then we'll get this as 1 over. We have already calculated the determinant of this matrix A as equal to 1. Therefore, we can see that determinant of the matrix is equal to 1, and then we can see the adjoint of this matrix. We can see that adjoint of the matrix, it is actually written in this form: minus 2, minus 3, 1, minus 3, minus 3, and 1, minus 2, 4, and 1. Once you are multiplying this, 1 over 1 is exactly equal to 1. Therefore, you will get the same answer here. But if you are having any other integer, then it is quite like the scalar multiplication. When in the scalar multiplication, we have to multiply each and every element of the given matrix by the given scalar. Therefore, here by thinking on the scalar multiplication, we can perform this calculation. Here each and every element has to be multiplied with 1 to obtain the final answer. Then you will get this as -2, -3 and 1, -3, -3 and 1, -2, +4 and 1. Therefore, this is what we are getting as the inverse of matrix A. Now you can see that this is also 3 by 3 matrix. It is because our initial matrix also given as a 3 by 3 square matrix. Therefore, this is the way that we can use to find out or calculate the inverse of 3 by 3 matrix. And if you need, we can extend that, this up to calculate it for 4 by 4 matrices as well. But generally, we are using the fundamental concept which has given us this A times A inverse equals I. Using this concept, we are able to find out the inverse for any given order square matrix. But we have just find out an alternative method for making the calculation much more easier. And this is another exercise I have given, and this can be tried by yourselves to calculate the inverse for this matrix. If it is exists, then you can find out. If I write down, or if I write down these calculation steps, I can write down it in here. If I write down the calculation step, first we need to we need to check whether A inverse exists or not. A inverse exists or not. First thing we need to check. To check this, we can obtain determinant of matrix A. Using the determinant of matrix A, we can check this. Then we need to obtain the adjoint of matrix A. To obtain the adjoint of matrix, what we need to do is first we need to obtain the minus, and then we need to obtain the cofactors. To obtain the cofactors, we can combine the minus with sign pattern. Then we need to obtain the transpose of the matrix. Therefore, as the third one, as the last step, what we need to do is we can obtain this A inverse. This using this equation, we can calculate. A inverse can be obtained using simply by taking the equation what we have written as adjoint of matrix A divided by the determinant of matrix A. Using this equation, we can calculate the A inverse as well. Therefore, these are the three steps, and here it seems that there is a slight mistake which I have made here. And if I correct it here, this becomes -2 minus 6. Therefore, this will become as +4. Therefore, this becomes +4, and here this will become -4. Then this becomes -4, -4. For the final answer also, this should be correct. There was a mistake in the calculation, and it is now corrected. Therefore, this should be the final answer for obtaining A inverse. And now I will move for discussing on the applications of matrices and determinants. And under the applications of the matrices and determinants, I will discuss the Cramer's rule. When we are discussing about the Cramer's rule, we can use the Cramer's rule to find out the solutions for system of linear equations. Therefore, generally, we are using the Cramer's rule to find out the solutions for a system of linear equations. And suppose that if you are having n number of linear equation, n number of linear equations, then we should be able to identify n number of solutions. If you are having n number of variables, there should be a number of, at least a number of linear equations, and there should be a number of solutions. And to find out these solutions for system of linear equation, we can apply the concepts of the matrices and determinants. Therefore, the rule combines these the concepts of matrices and determinants is meant to be the Cramer's rule. Therefore, when we are considering about, or when we are going to deal with the Cramer's rule, what we have to pay our attention is we have to think on whether the we are obtaining a matrix. Suppose it is in this way. Suppose that you are having a number of linear equation and n number of variables, and for the system of linear equation we will have the coefficients of these variables. Therefore, if you are performing, or if you are obtaining a matrix including the coefficient of these variables, then that variable is supposed to be meant as the variable A. And if this matrix A having the non-zero determinant, if this matrix has the non-zero determinant, then we say that the solutions for this system exist. Otherwise, we are saying that the solutions are not existing for the system of linear equations, or infinitely many solutions. Therefore, this is the concept we are applying in the Cramer's rule. Here, if you are having n number of variables, if I name them as x1, x2 up to xn, if I name the variables as x1, x2 up to xn, then the solution for the ith variable, if it is meant as the xi, then this would be equal to determinant of ai. This is the matrix we are forming, and this is obtained by dividing this by the determinant of matrix A. And this has to be repeated for all the number of variables where I goes from 1 to n. And if I break down this equation, then we can get for the first one, or the first variable, we'll get a solution like this. Or we can use this equation: x1 is equal to determinant of a1 divided by determinant of a. Then x2 is determinant of a2 divided by determinant of a. Likewise, xn equals determinant of an divided by determinant of a. Therefore, now I hope that you all are clear about the determinant of A. If you are, suppose it is quite like this. Suppose that I will take the very simple example. If I take, it is A1 x1 plus A2 x2 equals B1. Then if you are having this as A3 x1 plus A4 x2 equals b2. These are the two equations we are having. In generally, what we are doing is we are just equating these coefficients of the variables, and we can solve this. Or else, if you are taking these values, now suppose that you are obtaining, or you are trying to identify these values, it is a1, a2, a3 and a4. These are supposed to be the coefficients for the variable. Then we can say the matrix including these values are supposed to be our matrix A. And here we can say these b1, b2 are constants, so we can combine these constant and make a new vector, or just a column matrix. Therefore, by combining this matrix A with this column matrix, we are trying to obtain this matrix AI. Using an example, I will explain how we can obtain this matrix AI. And then by dividing the determinant of this AI matrix by the determinant of A, then we are obtaining the solutions for the system. And if the determinant of the coefficient matrix is 0, it means that if the determinant of A is equal to 0, similarly it says that if the determinant of matrix A is equal to 0, then we are saying that the system has either no solution or infinitely many solutions. This is how we are using these concepts of the matrices and determinants in the Cramer's rule. Now I will directly move for an example to discuss on this Cramer's rule. Here I have explained the way in the note, and I will redo the calculation. Then it will be easy for you. If I see about this calculation, then it is given as use the Cramer's rule to solve the system of linear equations, which is given as 4x minus 2y equals 10 and 3x minus 5y equals 11. If it is just given as 2 by 2, just with the two variables, we can easily find out the solutions for system of linear equation in this form, or otherwise we have to use it in we have to use it for the Cramer's rule. Therefore, anyhow, for the explanation of this Cramer's rule, I will use this concept, use this system of linear equation. If I write it here, it is given as 4x minus 3y equals 10, 4x minus 3y equal 2y equals 10. Is given as 4x minus 2y equals 10, and then the next equation is 3x minus 5y equals 11. 3x minus 5y equals 11. Now we'll see how we can perform the calculation using the Cramer's rule. Therefore, if I write down the values here, 4x minus 2y equals 10 and 3x minus 5y equals 11. Okay. When we are going to find out or use the Cramer's rule, first thing is we need to identify, or we need to convert this into a form of ax equals b. We need to convert this into a form of ax equals b, where a contains it is the matrix containing coefficients. Then x is supposed to be the matrix containing variables, and b is supposed to be, it is anyhow vector, but anyhow I will say it as a column matrix. Therefore I will write it as matrix containing coefficients. Therefore these are the three matrices we need to identify first. Therefore using this this system of linear equation, now we'll need to convert this into a form of ax equals b. To convert this into a form of ax equals b, here what we need to do is, first we need to isolate the constant terms in one side. Here it is given that all the constants are in one side, and all the terms associated with variables in another side. Here I have taken the terms associated with the variables in left hand side, and all the constant terms in the right hand side of this equation. Therefore, what I can see here is um, uh, we can obtain, or we can convert this into a form of this ax equals b. To write down or to convert it, first we need to identify matrix contain coefficients. Prior to identify this ax, a and x matrices, what we need to do is we need to align the similar variables in similar columns. Here it is given as 4x minus 2y. Now first variable is x variable and second variable is y variable. In the second equation also we can see the similar thing here. we can see that 3x minus 5y, first variable is x and second variable is y. Therefore, now it is no need to rearrange the terms. It is because all the variables are given in order, as well as all the constant terms in one side of the equation. Therefore, I will directly write down the matrix A, X, and B. Therefore, first I need to include all the elements, all the coefficients in this matrix. Therefore, this is equals to 4, minus 2, 3, and minus 5. Then the matrix or matrix containing the variables. Here we can see first variable is x and second variable is y, and then this equals to a matrix, a column matrix containing the constant terms. It is 10 and 11. Now we have converted the system of linear equations into a way as this ax equals b. Therefore, we can now convert it. We have already converted this into, here it is like matrix A, here it is like matrix X, and here it is like vector B. Therefore, this is the form that we need to convert this into. And thereafter what we need to do is, after converting, then we need to identify in this as a second stage. What we need to do it, we need to first take the determinant of matrix A. We need to take the determinant of matrix A and check by using the determinant of matrix A. We are checking, use to check whether the solutions exist or not. Therefore, this is the way that we are checking the solutions exist or not. Therefore, as the first case, we can use this determinant of matrix A. So we'll see whether the solutions are existed for this system of linear equations or not. Then determinant of A can be written in this form. It is 4 minus 2, 3, and minus 5. Then this can be written as 4 times minus 5. It is minus 20, minus 3 times minus 2. It is minus 6 altogether. This leads to the determinant is equal to minus 40. Therefore, now we can see that this determinant A is not equal to 0. Since this is not equal to 0, therefore we can say that A inverse, we can say that the system has, we can say that the linear system has, the linear system of equations has finite solutions. Therefore, using the determinant, we are checking whether the solutions are exist or not. Now we have confirmed that the solutions are exist. Therefore, now we can use the third step. We can go for third step to find out the value for the ith variable. We are taking the determinant of this AI matrix, and it is divided by the determinant of A. Now we have identified that determinant of A is equal to minus 40. Now we are having another problem. We need to take the determinant of AI, but still we do not know what is actually meant by this AI. Therefore, to identify this AI matrix, we can combine this matrix A with the coefficient matrix. Here, first we say that this xi, instead of xi, now we are having the values as x and y instead of xi. The values now we are having here is, we are having the variables x and variable y. These are the values we need to take, or we need to calculate the obtain the answers for the variables x variable and y variable. To get the answer for this variable x and variable y, what we need to do is first we need to identify the matrix associated with variable x and then matrix associated with variable y. Therefore, instead of this x I will take this as, instead of I we are having the variable x, instead of I we are having variable y. Therefore, I will take these two matrices. Here I would like to say it as matrix AX. This also 2 by 2 matrix. It is because our coefficient matrix is a 2 by 2 matrix, and then I have to take the matrix AY. This is also a 2 by 2 matrix. 2 by 2 matrix. This is also a 2 by 2 matrix. Then what we can do is, here we can see that if we are considering this matrix, actually these are the values associated with the variable x. If I write using another color, here these are the variables associated with the variable x, and these are the variables, the coefficients associated with variable y. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to identify a matrix associated with this variable x. Therefore, I have to omit this set of values. It is because since these are the coefficients associated with the matrix x or the variable x, therefore I am omitting these values, and instead of these values, I will replace it from the coefficient values. Therefore, for the first column, I will replace it by the coefficients. It is 10 and 11. And then I will write down the values which is remaining in the matrix. It is minus 2 and minus 5. Minus 2 and minus 5. Similarly, we can obtain this as well. For the obtaining of AY, what we can do is, first we can obtain this here. This is the set of values associated with the simply with this variable y, coefficients associated with variable y. Therefore, this column has to be now replaced with the constant terms. Therefore, we can take this as 10 and 10 and 11. It is because these are the values that we have written for the second column, and then first column has to be keep it as it is. It is because these are the values that we are obtaining from the matrix A. It is 4 and 3. Then we can say this value is 4, this value is 3. Now we have identified the matrix AX and matrix AY. Therefore, we can obtain the determinant of AX and determinant of AY. Therefore, here I will write down the determinant of AX. Determinant of AX, it is determinant by taking the difference of the products of the diagonal elements. Then 10 minus 2, 11 and minus 5 is here. If I perform the calculation, here it is minus 50 minus 22. Minus 50 minus 50 minus 22. Here we are getting this as minus 20. Here we are getting this value as minus 28. And thereafter, what we need to do is, we need to similarly obtain the value for determinant of AY as well. To obtain the determinant of AY, we can use this equation 4, 3, 10 and 11. 4, 3, 10 and 11. For if you perform this calculation, here we'll get 44 minus 30. We'll get the value as plus 14. Plus 14 is the value we are getting here. 44 minus 30. Now what we can do is, we can obtain, or we can use obtain the answers using this equation. Instead of xi, I will directly write x and y respectively. Therefore, we can obtain the answers for x and y. X is equal to what we can say it as the determinant of AX divided by determinant of A. This leads to value that it is minus 28 divided by 14 equals to minus 2, x equals to minus 2. And similarly, we can get the value of y. Y is equal to determinant of ay divided by determinant of a. Then we will get this as plus 14 divided by 14. Then we'll get the value of y equals 1. Therefore, we can write it as a pair of values. It is quite as x comma y is equal to 2 comma 1. Therefore, this is the set of solution which is appropriate for the given system of linear equation. Therefore, this is how we are using the Cramer's rule. Now, suppose that if you are considering here, we have considered it is just for two variables, and now I will explain another example related to. I will discuss another example related to this here. Even though it is given in the exercise, I will take the first one for the discussion. Therefore, if I write down this. If I write down the values here, it is for finding for three equation system. Therefore, if I write down the equations, it is given as minus x minus 2y is just as minus x plus 2y minus 3z plus 2y minus 3z equals minus 1. Z equals 1. Then next one is given as 2x plus z equals 0. So it is 2x plus z equals 0. Then 3x minus 4y plus 4z equals 2. This is the system of equations provided for us. As the first thing, what we need to do is we have to isolate all the variables in one side and all the constant terms in another side. As soon as we see this set of equation, we can see that all these or this for this set of equations, we can see all the variables in one side and all the other constant terms in next side of the equation. Therefore, no need to rearrange the equation. But what we need to do next is we need to align the variables accordingly. But here we can see that first variable, in the first equation, it is x, y, and z. We have the, if we follow this form, in the second equation, it is x and z only. There is no any variable associated with y. Then here it is x, y, and z. No need to change the order. Variables are in the order. Therefore, I am realigning this in this form. If I try to realign this, then first I will write this x variable. It is minus x, and then here it is plus 2y, and then here we are having minus 3z. This equals to 1. Then we are having it is 2 times x, and here it is plus z. Since we do not have any y variable, I am keeping it as a blank. Then here it is 3x minus 4y plus 4z equals 2. This is how we can write down the equation. For this missing value of y, I will say it as plus 0 times y. It does not make any harm. It is because if you are multiplying the coefficient with 0, then we'll get it the value as 0. That is why we can keep it as a blank as cell. We can use this value. It is because this cell easy make the our calculation easy. Therefore, instead of keeping it as a blank, I will replace it using 0 times this variable. Therefore, now what we need to do is we need to convert this into a form of ax equals b. Since I have aligned all the variables accordingly, I can directly write down the coefficients first. Here, this x has this minus notation in the sense the coefficient is equal to -1. Therefore, we'll get this as -1. The here it is +2, and here value is -3. Similarly, it is 2, 0, and 1. Then 3, -4, and +4. Here we'll get this set of values as our matrix X, and then we can write down the variable X, Y, and Z. It is because once you multiply the set of matrices, then you will be able to get the set of linear equation. Then this equals to 1, 0, and therefore here we can identify this as the matrix A, this as the column matrix X or vector, and here this is also a column matrix B. Therefore, now we have identified or converted it into the format that we need. And the next stage, what we need to do is we need to check whether the system exists solutions or not. To check whether the system exists solutions or not, what we need to do is we need to check the determinant of the matrix A. Determinant of the matrix A, it is -1, 2, -3, 2, 0, and 1, 3, -4, and +4. Now write down these values accordingly. It is -1, 0, 1, -4, and 4. Then connected with minus sign, it is -2 times. Here it is 2, 1, 3, and 4. Then plus with minus, it is again -3. Then we'll get these values as 2, 0, 3, and 4. This is how we are getting the values. Then we will get this as -1 times 0 plus 4, -2 times 8 minus 3, -3 times -0. Here we'll get it as -4, and this value it is -10, and then we'll get this as +24. Then we can see the answer as it is -14 plus 24 gives the answer as 10, which we can say that this is not equal to 0. We can say that therefore the system of equations has finite solutions. If you are getting 0 here, then we can say that there are no finite solutions or many solutions. Writing in that way, we can terminate the calculation at this point. But here we have to perform the calculation. Has finite solutions. Therefore, what we need to do is in the next one, we need to calculate the values accordingly. To calculate the values, first we need to identify the variable associated with variable X, Y, and Z. Since we are having finite solutions, and if I write down these are the variables that we need to identify. We need to identify the variable, the matrix associated with X. Then we need to identify matrix associated with Y. Similarly, matrix associated with variable. Then we can, if I identify the variables, then I will get it as here. This is the variable coefficients associated with X, coefficients associated with Y, and coefficients associated with Z. For taking the values associated with the variable X, then we can replace the first column with the constant terms. Then here it is 1, 0, and 2, and the remaining elements has to be written down. The remaining elements are 2, 0, and -4, then -3, 1, and 4. To write down the matrix Y, matrix associated with variable y. First column comes as it is. So if I write down the column which changed first, the second column has to be changed. It is now becoming as 1, 0, and 2. Now it has to, the remaining elements has to be written accordingly. Here it is minus 1, 2, and 3. Then minus 3, 1, and then variable z has to be considered. Here this will become 1, 0, and 2, since we have to replace the values in the third column, and thereafter we can write down the values. The values are minus 1, 2, and 3, then 2, 0, minus 4. Now we have identified the matrices associated with variable x, variable y, and variable z respectively. Then we can use, we can simply say we can obtain the determinant of these matrices first. First we need to obtain the determinant of matrix Ax is 1, 2, minus 3, 0, 0, 1, 2, minus 4, and it is 1 times 0, 1, minus 4, 4, and minus 2 times 0, 1, 2, and 4. Then it is plus times minus 3, 0, 0, 2, 1, minus. Here we'll get this as 1 times 0 plus 4, minus 2 times 0 minus 2, minus 3 times 0 minus 0. Use the value as 4. Here it is minus 2 times minus 2 becomes the value as plus 4, minus 0 equals 8. Then we need to take the value for determinant of ay. It is minus 1, 1, and minus 3, 2, 0, and 1, 3, 2, and minus 1 times it is 0, 1, 2, and 4. Again minus 1 times 2, 1, 3, and 4, minus 3 times 2, 0. Therefore, we can write down the values. Here it is minus 1 times 0 minus 2, minus 1 times 8 minus 3, minus 3 times 4 minus 0. This leads to value as here it is plus 2, then minus 5 is here, and then minus 12 is here. So we'll get this value as minus 15. And if I then I need to take the determinant for AZ. It can be written as AZ we know the values as minus 1, 2, and 3, 2, 1, 0, 0, minus 4. To get the determinant of matrix AZ, we can write the values. It is minus 1 times minus 2 times, here it is plus 1 times, this leads to value, it is minus 1 times 0 minus 0, minus 2 times 4 minus 0, plus 1 times Here we are getting, which is 2 times minus 4 minus 8 minus 0. Then this part becomes 0, minus 8 minus 8 gives the value as minus 16. Now what we need to do is we can calculate the value of x, y and z respectively. X can be taken as determinant of ax divided by determinant of a. If you perform the, if you substitute the values, a was identified as 10, ax was identified as 8. Then this can be taken as ax was identified as 8, 8 is 10, and if you need, we can solve this furthermore. It is 4.5. Then y can be taken as determinant of ay divided by the determinant of a. Then this can be taken as value was identified as minus 15. It's minus 15 divided by 10 by itself equals to minus 3 over 2. Then x is equal to z is equal to determinant of az divided by the determinant of a, self equals to minus 16 divided by 10, which gives the value as minus 8 divided by 5. Therefore, we can write this value this form. Here we get x, y, and z is equals to 4 over 5, 3 over 2, and minus 8 over 5 as the final answer. Therefore, this is how we are using the Cramer's rule in obtaining the answers. But actually, if you are having large number of equations, this would be much more easier with compared to finding out or solving this type of equation just by equating the coefficients. Therefore, this is how we are using the Cramer's rule. It is just the application of matrices and determinants. And this is all what I need to discuss for this session, and thank you all for participating with this session.